Hi everyone, this is Leslie Stewart from Invest Nicaragua with Remax Coastal Properties. I'm here with a very good friend of mine named Dhruv Gulati. Dhruv is one of the owners of El Encanto del Sur, one of the premier developments here in San Juan del Sur. And we're just going to be talking about who he is, the project he's done here, El Encanto, and also how he got to know San Juan, what brought him here, why he stayed, and what his plans are for the future. So he's an extremely busy man, and we're very grateful that he's cut some time out to come and sit with us. So Dhruv,
thank you,
thank
Leslie.
you for coming.
Thank you, appreciate that. Thank you for the nice introduction.
Thank you.
So yes, that's a nice long answer I can provide. It's been 13 years since we started the concept, so
Okay.
it's been quite an evolution, but it's been lovely. Not quite sure where to start, but maybe from the beginning?
Yeah, tell us a little bit about, before we even get into El Encanto, who are you, or more importantly, who were you before you came to San Juan, before you came to Nicaragua? Who is Dhruv leading up to his introduction to Nicaragua?
It's a good question. So I live predominantly in Northern California, the Bay Area, but about 15 years ago, I was getting bored with my life. I'm in IT. It's quite lucrative, but rather dry. I was looking for something else, something fun, something enjoyable. I don't have children. I wanted something else to start. Fill my life with, build a legacy, what have you. These all sort of came with it, but maybe it was in me that I wanted that. So my original business partner and I, we were good friends. We would talk at various events about how we both wanted to do something in Central America. For years before, I had read some articles that there's an opportunity that was beautiful, but it's something you can come and start and grow. I wasn't born in the 1800s when all that happened, so my own opportunity to do so. But and so we looked in Belize and Panama, Costa Rica, and they were all beautiful, but we didn't see the opportunity. And then my partner Fred came to San Juan in early 2006, and he came back and said, "Hey, you got to check this place in San Juan out. It's really cool." And so this is after we'd seen other things and we just didn't feel it.
Okay.
And we came here, and the vibe, it hit us. So we got here, both what a lovely place it was, how it was still raw and a canvas, if you will, that we could work with, and just it was exciting and beautiful, and we just loved everything about it, right?
And what year is this that you come to San Juan, you see it with your own eyes, and you know it's a fit?
It was Labor Day 2006.
Labor Day 2006, okay. About 13 years ago, approximately.
Yeah, approximately.
Okay. And what were your first impressions? You've read about it, Fred told you about it, but you're seeing it for your first eyes. What were the first impressions that you personally had in San Juan and Nicaragua?
That's a good question, and many beers and rum ago. The first impression was, it's definitely raw. It's definitely undeveloped, but the beauty and the people and it came out. You could see the potential when we were here, because a lot of these things, they built on each other.
Okay.
In our minds.
Okay.
Right?
And then what is the transition like from I like it here on vacation as an exploratory trip to making the decision to invest here, to spend your money and purchase a piece of land and develop a development? What was that transition and what was that process like?
Well, it was always the intent to invest.
Okay.
I wanted another investment. Had done well in IT and wanted to create another opportunity of my own. And so we came here with that in mind. All the way it was going to be something much smaller, not as grand as we ended up doing El Encanto. And as we came here, we're staying at Pelican Eyes. I don't know if anybody was here in Pelican Eyes in '06. It was crazy.
Crazy good.
Crazy great.
Crazy good.
Great. No, it was full of people having a good time, drinking, surfing, and talking about the real estate they wanted to buy. And so we got caught up in all of that. But we, as I mentioned earlier, we saw the opportunity, but we got caught up in that vibe as well. Now they were looking at something doing different. We were looking to sustain something, to build something out that we saw going out much further. A lot of people here were really looking to. It was all speculative. It was before the crash. They were all borrowing against their 401ks or whatever, their homes, and buying here.
And we're still talking about 2006,
2006.
2007. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, we bought it in 06. So
06, okay.
But we hit it. We did this. We were looking around. We were understanding, and we found this property. We found a few properties, but this one really hit us, and we said, we can do this. We can do this. We talked about it a bit, and went back, had some conversations with some folks, some investors, some possible investors of ours, along with us, and said, I think we can do this. So we didn't want to lose this property. So we went into contract. In parallel, and I raised the money. I actually wrote the business plan on the way back from a trip with my ex-wife in Zurich, Switzerland to Paris. I wrote it on the train.
Wow.
Yeah, I was obviously very inspired at that point.
So you put the property under contract before you had all the funding,
That's right.
just off the gut that
Right.
this was it. This was the right project.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
But it was the right time, right place. We had enough to sell the vision, and the original vision was different, and I'll get into that later. But and so we went out there to raise the money. But the concept that we had, that we wanted to do, which still remains today, it's evolved, was resonated both as a possible great investment as well as a lifestyle.
Okay. Hitting the financial and the personal
Mm-hmm.
characteristics. Okay.
So we were able to raise the money in 6 weeks along with our funds, and we finalized the deal on this property in December of 2006, so 3-4 months later.
So December 2006, the property's been purchased. You have the funds from the investors. Now you have a piece of dirt, a
Yeah.
very large one.
Now what do we do?
What happens next?
Luckily, that's what's cool about this area is that the expat community along in Nika, expat community, you're one of my best friends, right? So we're all friends. Everyone talking, we're all trying to make money and live together, and so it all happens. Like there's a network of people. We started to meet people. Obviously, we're green. We're new at this. Helped us conceptually on a few different things. I think some of the folks that I was working with earlier.
Okay.
And they assisted us in starting it out. And as we went on, we created a network that we did. So luckily the first part of the land was semi-developed, so we were able to get that online relatively quickly, within 9 months.
Wow.
So we started selling it towards the end of 2007.
Okay.
It was pretty nice property, very close to town, and in the climate, so we did quite well.
Now, what happens from the time you purchase the property, December 2006, until you start actually selling lots in the first phase, promoting the project? Was there a personal change, just now being on the ground, getting your hands dirty, turning your vision into a reality?
It's a great question. Yes, yeah, and it continues to date. I mean, it's an evolution. It's a growing, very dynamic place. It's somewhat dynamic as part of our project plan and our plan for the development. Because as we want to be flexible, but so the answer goes in two different ways. One was we started to get to know San Juan. So logistically, technically, what we have to do is we were learning as we go with the right people to help us do that. And then emotionally, we started to, get, inserted into the community here. Fred was living full time. I was coming regularly, and so we started meeting people and learning as we went. And so that helped feed the concept, not only from a financial concept, but the vision that we wanted to have for this area. Because San Juan is a special spot,
100%.
and the tagline I came up with while doing this was for our marketing on our website was, El Encanto del Sur, the natural evolution of San Juan, and that has dual meaning. One is we wanted to have an eco development that we maintained as much as we can of the natural environmental standpoint. We have a lot of land. We're not going to make it beautiful. We want to make sure the beauty of the land comes through, and we maintain it, throughout.
Try to maintain the aesthetic,
Exactly. The natural
the
feel of
landscape.
Exactly.
That is
Because
Nicaragua.
if someone wants to buy it, going to buy here, going to buy it for that. They're not gonna, they want to feel part of the land, see the monkeys, enjoy the trails, have the openness and the freedom. The other part of the natural was we knew naturally San Juan would grow and evolve towards us, so that we would ultimately be part of town to some degree. But as we grew it, we knew we'd be part of town, but we'd have this little magical island of this community that grows around it. We'd be part of it.
So that's the vision and the thought in 2006, 2007, as you guys start to build out the project and sell lots. How has that vision and that idea changed over the last 13 years?
It's changed along with just the overall climate in investing and in people and in us. It started off being, hey, we're going to sell. We're going to feed the demand that's there. People wanting to buy lots. Not a lot of speculators, but we were incenting in a lot of ways and driving the need that they build. Right? We wasn't just selling a lot. We wanted them to build and be part of the community. So how we drafted our terms was to allow for that. But early
And
on,
avoiding people who were just looking to flip land and
Exactly.
focusing on people who wanted to build and lay roots.
of course, we had a few of those, but most of them, as opposed to other developments, was people who actually want to stay. A lot of people are here still, and they've built and they're living here, full time in some cases. So that was that. But we know, obviously, we're in business, so we're selling property, but we wanted to keep it, we wanted to keep it true to our philosophy as much as possible. And that continued, and then a big change. So it's dynamic. Things were happening in the market, in the people, in the country, and we all know about the global downturn, economic downturn in
2000.
late 08, 09, and that affected us. Obviously, a lot of people had
Everyone.
yeah, and so everybody, right? A lot of people lost a lot of money, and they were selling, and so they were selling at pennies on the dollar. We didn't want to compete with that, so we sort of shut down. We sold it, but we shut down the development. We weren't doing that. We're hanging out, keeping things going until it came back. But when it came back to a much more. So that was speculative, and it came back. It was people saying, "Hey, I want to buy for the long term. I want to buy because I love it here, because I see the opportunity here. Whether emotionally is a place to retire, is a place I want to visit and be in, or I see the opportunity in doing that while also having an income stream from rental. And so that's evolved over time, but so because that philosophy wasn't that far apart from it, we welcome that because that's a much more sustainable concept or for our business.
And in general, it seems like 2007 and before that, Nicaragua was a very speculative market. You had people who were coming in, buying land, flipping it. The crash happens, a lot of people lose their shirt. And then after that, the new market that enters is a market that's thinking more long-term, a greater emotional tie to Nicaragua, it seems like. And it appears that you guys were a little bit ahead of the market in your concept, but after the correction, the market caught up with what you were thinking and
Yes.
what you were planning.
Yep, exactly. And it's evolved with it, right? And so as we understood what people were looking to do, both in what we were selling, what they were doing, how they were looking to buy, and what they were looking to buy, what type of homes. Because now it went from just lots to people actually looking at homes. So we built a portfolio of different models that we felt were indicative of our style and of good style. We weren't just throwing things up. This model was an example of it. We wanted something different that created a brand of its own Encanto, right? There's a lot of other developments which have a similar style, but we wanted to have character in a good way, right? In a different way. Not everyone, everyone, different strokes for different folks, right? Everyone has different tastes, and we can't feed everyone, but we can, with what we believe we can feed the taste of a lot of people. Like this home, for example, look at it. I got a lot of the ideas from a vacation in Hawaii, and I love the Polynesian open
Mm-hmm.
living tropical concept. So some of that's in here with some colonial Spanish features, but more of a Polynesian style. You look at the openness of the home, the tiles, various things.
Which is a product that isn't really available in other developments
It's not
or as
around here.
independent homes.
Right. No, I mean, this is definitely, I would say a trademark, but it's people associate this style. Now, some people are trying to copy it, and that's cool. And, I mean,
The best form of flattery,
yeah,
right?
we don't, exactly. We don't have a monopoly on that, but yeah, we're building another one like this down in earlier phase for group.
So now we're in March 2019, 13 years in it. Where do you see yourself today as a development in San Juan del Sur in Nicaragua? And what are your thoughts for the next 5, 10, 20 years down the road? Not only for the development, but for Drew, for you.
So, good question. I might bounce around a little bit, but
Go for it,
but
don't worry.
the philosophy of the development has grown, and it's a pretty cool concept. I mean, we wanted this place to be a kind of a destination, but close to town. So you're 10 minutes from town, enjoy all the amenities of town, the restaurants, the retail, the people. But you can come here to your little sanctuary that's not far away, but you feel like you're miles away, and to create a community where there's back to the whole evolution concept. I believe evolution. That one person can't control evolution. It takes community. It takes a diversity of people. So we wanted to allow for a canvas where within the constraints of our designs, the taste of designs, we didn't have this kind of stuff that just really wouldn't be attractive. But within those boundaries, build whatever they liked, design whatever they liked, and do that. So some of those things. So a biggie, obviously, and I know you're speaking with my business partner later. He really wanted to create a hotel, and that thing grew, and it was such a small concept, and it's grown into this amazing thing that's so well known. I'll give you a little anecdote. I came in the airport last week. The guy at the immigration desk knew it. Oh, Tree Casa is amazing. I'm doing it with my wife for our anniversary. So we created this presence. So that's an anchor point for us. And then we've got other folks who wanted to do different things. We have a group that wants to do a tennis complex that'll feed into it. So it's synergistic. They have their own thing, but they're going to feed into what we're doing. Other people doing other things. We started farm to table concept for the restaurant, but also others. We have trails. We have for biking and horseback riding. We're going to have stables for people who want to keep their horses, so they can have that concept without having to deal with the horse concept. So there's various things, and as they come to us, and it makes sense, we feel it makes sense for the development, we add to it.
Okay. And what's a personal goal or benchmark for you that you'd like to accomplish at the development in the next 2 to 3 years? Something that you feel like, okay, by this date we really need to, or having this would be hugely beneficial to the development?
Well, that's a good question. Some of what I'm talking about feeds here, but we have to go with the flow. I've recently had a life-changing thing last year with a divorce, and as my life goes on, I've never had children, so I want a legacy. This is part of my legacy, but also I've understood that you can't, you can't fight the current of the universe. You got to go with the flow and how it's going. And so I want it to be open enough where we can adjust with it and how it goes. So within the bounds of the philosophy's community that we want to create. So as ideas come to us, we add to it. We're constantly adding to the Tree Casa concept as it feeds into El Encanto. I want to have some other anchor points, like for example, a market for our locals. They can stay here. I would like other folks to see the beauty of this concept and start their own little restaurant or hotel.
And this is an important point. So El Encanto, we're not just looking for residential home buyers, we're also looking for entrepreneurs who have commercial concepts.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, this is a village, right? It's a village, and a village. Once again, evolution. I mean, you go in a tract home, it's boring. You want to have these different things,
amenities, anchors.
and anchors, different lifestyles, all sorts of stuff going on.
And you've always explained it to me in a way, you didn't say it explicitly today, but I think the big idea is that El Encanto can stand by itself.
Yes.
Down the road, you have a house here, you can do your shopping here,
Exactly.
you can do yoga here, which you can now do with Tree Casa, the restaurant, but the development acts as a little town within itself.
That's exactly it. Like I was saying, we have people saying, hey, we want to do a little 4-room, 6-room B&B, a little restaurant. Because, if you're living here, you may get tired of Tree Casa. You want to go to another restaurant. You want to go see Gabriel over here, his place, or whatever. I want to go play tennis. I've got a group right now that they're going to do a Bikram yoga concept close by. They're going to start building later this year. So something else. So this all sort of evolves, and it feeds San Juan. San Juan feeds us. So I see this happening naturally.
And going off of that, how do you see the current and the future relationship with El Encanto being integral into the growth of San Juan del Sur? You said when you originally started, you saw this idea of El Encanto growing in conjunction with San Juan and vice versa. Now, where do you see El Encanto's role for the future of San Juan?
I would use the metaphor of any town that's evolved, right? We're still very early in this thing. I mean, I see this El Encanto being way past a lifetime, of course, 100, 200, 300 years, who knows, right? And the one thing I don't want anybody, I'll answer this in a tangent, I don't want anybody to say, hey, who are these guys, what crap did they create? I want it to be beautiful. But, it can't always be us, it's got to be everyone adding their beauty into it, right? And so that includes town, right? This is part of town, just like someone decides to put a restaurant in there or some cool retail spot or a gym or whatever, it's going to be part of town. People in adjoining developments or other areas living here, they'll come here and spend money and do stuff. And likewise, people who live here are going to go spend money in town or elsewhere, go to Madeiras, whatever.
It's more movement for the community.
Exactly. It's not sterile. It's a very dynamic place.
Great. All right. So this has been super informative. 2 more questions. In your 13 years doing business here, somewhat living on and off, operating here, what's your biggest takeaway? What have you learned about yourself over these 13 years? And then if you have any advice or any thoughts for someone who may be looking to embark on something similar to you did, whether on a bigger scale or smaller scale, what's your biggest takeaway and what words of advice would you impart on someone who's looking to maybe follow in similar to your footsteps?
First of all, I wouldn't write your business plan in ink. Have it in pencil because it's going to change. Okay. It's going to change, and you want to go with the flow. You're going to have setbacks and you're going to have growth, and you can't get too high, too low. It's going to happen. But I think I've grown a lot. I mean, obviously I've grown over 13 years. My takeaways, I think this was my second home. I come here for Thanksgiving, right? I have some incredible friends, lifetime friends. I have friends who have come from my brother here, and it's all part of my life, and it is ingrained in me, right? I'm an Indian in Nicaragua, right? Who figured, but that's all part of it, right? So, I think as I go on, I'll spend more and more time here. I'll probably retire here.
Okay.
It's all part of my life, my life, I love California too. I love the world, and I love to visit it all. But this is one of my homes.
This is a base.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of my 2 homes.
And advice for someone who may be looking to come down and start a project? Words of wisdom?
Back to the earlier one. Don't do the same thing. Look at this. Look at this as a place where you can make your mark, and allow your own desires and philosophy to work. Whether it's a little hotel, a little development, a store, recreation facilities, there's a huge opportunity here as it grows. The Nicaraguan people are incredible because they are so proud of the country and they want it to grow, and they're just natural. And people around the world are learning about Nicaragua, and I guess it's pretty cool. I want to be part of this thing, and so go with that, add to it, don't take away from it.
Add value. Okay. Well, Dhruv, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching. Again, we're with Dhruv Gulati, one of the owners of El Encanto del Sur. And now I think we're gonna walk around a little bit, show you guys the house. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, if you have something you wanna ask Dhruv, just leave it in the comments. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you and bye.